Part 82. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 811. Tong Yu left the script of Before Dawn and left in a daze. I have to say that Zhang Lingzi's reason for going to graduate school really moved her heart. Nowadays, there are people with all kinds of academic qualifications in the entertainment industry, usually undergraduates, some with college, high school, or even junior high school degrees. However, graduate students in the entertainment industry are indeed rare. Don't say you don't need to care about your academic qualifications if you become popular. After all, you still care. As a public figure, you are bound to receive more judgment than other professions. From the outside to the inside, from character to character, that is called a comprehensive review. Plus, there will always be some scumbags or professional scumbags from your opponent's side who will seize on your shortcomings and lash out at you. Zhang Lingzi was hacked by the entire internet before, and she was also hacked very badly because she only had a high school education. This is also the reason why after she learned about Zhang Lingzi's decision to take the college entrance examination and go to university, she didn't say anything that would affect her career, but instead strongly supported it. I cared about it before, but there is no reason why I don't care about it now. Moreover, this graduate student does not need to spend time and energy to take the exam, he can be recommended directly. Such a good opportunity, as an agent, it would be a pity for her to miss it. It was a series of later plans she had made for Zhang Lingzi, which needed to be revised. Think about it, rushing too fast is not good. Maybe you can go more solidly if you are more steady. During this period of steady progress, she will study for a graduate degree. When she gets a graduate degree, she will see who can further cheat on the academic qualifications of her own artists. Tong Yu spent time along the way and finally accepted the fact that her artist had just finished his undergraduate degree and was going to graduate school, and his mood also calmed down. As soon as he entered his agent's office, a phone rang. "Hello, I am Zhang Lingzi's manager Tong Yu." "Hello Ms. Tong, this is the organizer of the Huazhu Film Festival. The role of Zhong Yuanyi in The Grand Master starring Zhang Lingzi was nominated for the Best Actress at this year's Huazhu Film Festival. I sincerely invite you." Tong Yu, damn piece, I want to get high. Asterisk. After winning the Best Actress award at the Huazhu Film Festival for the yet-to-be-released The Grand Master, which can also be said to be the Best Actress award, Zhang Lingzi has been waiting for the movie to be released in major theaters in Huazhu on New Year's Day. He quietly joined Professor Zhou and started studying for graduate school. In the same year, Su Linghan also rejected offers from several well-known technology companies and, like her sister, chose to continue her postgraduate studies in computer science. Zhang Lingxiu, who is still struggling in his undergraduate studies. He understood a truth: the most important thing for people is to recognize themselves. There is no point in being envious and jealous, he should just study for his undergraduate degree. Yang Shuliu passed through 5 hurdles and defeated 6 generals, and finally graduated from S University as an undergraduate and was admitted to Peking University as a graduate student in the history department. I received a huge surprise when I first entered school. How does it feel to have your idol become your own senior sister? Yuan has something to say about this. There will be endless tears of envy. Is it still too late for me to prepare for the postgraduate entrance examination? Yang Shuliu wanted to reply in a safe way, as long as you work hard, it's never too late, but then she thought about her idol, senior sister Zhang, who had entered the profession not much earlier than her, and she was still gnawing through textbooks and looking up information everywhere in order to write the essay assigned by her tutor. The other party is now doing the project with the tutor. Perhaps it means that Yuan worked hard to get into graduate school, and her idol senior sister Zhang has already graduated, so she missed it perfectly. She swallowed the words back. After thinking about it for a while, he reminded me vaguely, senior sister is really powerful. I think she will be just like she was when she was an undergraduate, and she can also graduate early as a graduate student. Yuan, woo woo woo. Just despair. Then you and Zixi are a mentor, so you should have many opportunities to meet each other, right? Yang Shuliu tugged at her lips and replied honestly, to be honest, it's not much. Not only does senior sister have to go to graduate school, she also has to go to the crew to film. If our Professor Joe has anything to do with her, we can only call or video chat with her. But her instructor gave her permission to go filming. After all, she is talented and willful. After hearing this, Yuan became even more yearning. What kind of idol have I become a fan of? Asterisk. Zhang Lingzi had just finished shooting a long scene, and was allowed to take a half-hour break by the director. It also leaves time to withdraw from the emotional adjustment state and prepare for the next scene. As soon as she walked out of the camera, Lu Zhengzheng held her cell phone and greeted her, Sister 11, Professor Joe just called me. I said you are filming, and you will come back after filming. Zhang Lingzi took the cell phone and called back while entering the starring lounge. During filming, Professor Joe actually didn't have many phone calls, but once he did, it would definitely be about an important issue. Although the studio conditions are simple, even the starring restroom is shared by several starring actors. But it's much better than the noisy filming set with all kinds of noise behind you. The actor who was touching up his makeup in the restroom quickly stood up when he saw the person coming in and said hello, Teacher Zhang. Zhang Lingzi nodded towards him, walked to the corner and sat down, looking at the screen of her phone. Professor Joe. I didn't disturb your filming, did I? This will give me a rest, I can rest for half an hour. That's good. I made a new discovery in the morning and asked your senior brother and sister to analyze it, but I think it's still a bit one-sided. You should also analyze this. After Liao Jingchen finished applying makeup and waited for the makeup artist to go aside, he couldn't help but look through the mirror at the figure sitting quietly in the corner. Ming Ming was wearing a dusty costume, and his face still had war-damaged makeup. Just sitting there quietly, he still couldn't move his eyes away. They say red aura nourishes a person, but the person in the mirror is not only red now, he is even red. Since his debut, his first movie was released globally and earned nearly 8 billion in box office. The second film won the Best Actress crown not long ago, and the box office figures are equally good, and it was both well received and well received. Who can not be envious? Speaking of which, in the drama he is currently filming, he has a relatively obscure emotional relationship with the character played by Zhang Lingzi. If he can use this to stir up CP. Thinking about it makes me excited. With this in mind, he stood up and pretended to go to get water. He was thinking about how to wait for the other party to end the call and start talking without leaving a trace. Then he heard what Zhang Lingzi said to the person on the other side of the phone. How should I describe it? I can clearly hear the words individually, but combined, I can't understand them at all. At any rate, he is also a serious undergraduate graduate. I suddenly heard a reminder, the water is overflowing. Liao Jingchen, who was still wondering what the sentence he just heard meant, said. He hurriedly closed the water dispenser. Sorry, I just got distracted thinking about the lines. Zhang Lingzi was not interested in what caused his distraction. She just pointed at the puddle of water flowing to the ground and said, well, remember to mop the ground so that no one comes over and accidentally slips. Liao Jingchen looked for a mop with a blushing face. When I finally found a working mop and came back, I saw that Zhang Lingzi was still playing video, but there seemed to be a different person on the other side of the video. Not only has the voice coming out of the microphone changed, but also because the person holding the phone has a little more tenderness in the corners of his eyes and eyebrows than before. Well, even his voice has become gentler. It's a battle damage, don't worry, there are no injuries. I just discussed the topic I am researching with Professor Joe. Don't come over to visit us, we'll be filming here for a few more days and the crew will have to transfer back to the studio. I haven't even finished the food you brought me last time. Liao Jingchen mopped the floor while listening, vaguely guessing the identity of the man on the other side of the phone. How could he forget that the person in the corner has a royal palace? Thinking of the man who brought a lot of supplies to their studio in the mountains to visit them, and the scene of him standing with Zhang Lingzi, his heart slowly sank to the bottom. Even if you want to speculate on CP, another person has to cooperate and show off in front of the camera. The probability that Zhang Lingzi is willing to trade CP with him should be 0. End of chapter. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 812. However, since this idea has arisen in my mind, it cannot be easily dismissed. Liao Jingchen did not go directly to Zhang Lingzi and ask if he would like to trade CP with me. Instead, he first went to his manager, Sister Lu, who stayed with him on the set. Specializing in CP, you and Zhang Lingzi. Sister Lu would be lying if she said she was not moved. But who is Zhang Lingzi? Let's not talk about the far ones, let's talk about the nearest ones. Just one Best Actress title at the Huazhu Film Festival is what so many female stars dream of. Moreover, many actors with superb acting skills are famous in dramas but not popular. They have the ability to win awards but not much popularity. Zhang Lingzi is a celebrity in dramas. She is a hot search topic every day, and her number of fans is also increasing. Obviously, he is serious about filming and making movies, and he has not done much business in front of fans. However, his popularity is not inferior to those popular celebrities who rely on fans for their livelihood. Who can not envy them? But it's not that she belittles her own artists. Liao Jingchen can participate in this drama, and he will be paired with Zhang Lingzi and other veteran actors. Naturally, he has a certain degree of popularity and ability. But it depends on who to compare with. Speculating CP can indeed play a role in promoting the drama to a certain extent, and can also increase Liao Jingchen's popularity, but what benefits does it have for Zhang Lingzi? Would the other party nod if it doesn't do much good? Sister Lu really doesn't have this confidence. Liao Jingchen looked at Sister Liu's crazy but embarrassed reaction. Although she was disappointed, she was mentally prepared. She pursed her lips and said the next best thing, Sister Lu, do you think it is feasible to speculate alone? Special speculation, the two of them have been partners since their debut. Sister Lu instantly understood the meaning of these two words said by Liao Jingchen. He hesitated for a moment and gritted his teeth, I'll give it a try. There are so many people in this circle who will do whatever it takes to get famous, and this opportunity to film with Zhang Lingzi is really rare. It would be a pity to miss it like this. Besides, they are not unscrupulous, at most they are using some small tricks to increase the popularity, and maybe they can help promote the show. After consoling herself, Sister Lu quietly made arrangements. A few days later, Das Han scene ended, and the crew moved to the Imperial City Film and Television City. Zhang Lingzi's fans didn't know how they got the announcement, and they also organized a team visit with Liao Jingchen's fans. Previously, Liao Jingchen didn't even bother to put makeup on her face after changing out of her costume, so she ran around to meet her fans who had worked so hard to come to visit her. Naturally, Zhang Lingzi couldn't bear to ignore the other half of her fans. Compared to the harmonious atmosphere between the idols and fans next door, the atmosphere here between Zhang Lingzi and her fans is a bit weird. There are evening self-study classes on weekend nights in high school. Can you still catch up with the evening self-study classes when you go back? The second-year high school girl asked. What she wanted to say, I can take one class off for studying in the evening, was swallowed back by Zhang Lingzi's indifferent gaze. The idol looks at her like the head teacher who holds her head down every day to tell them to study hard. You came all the way from Shanghai, did you take a plane or a high-speed rail? This trip will cost you almost half a month's living expenses. There are still more than 10 days before the end of the month. How are you going to spend your time? A student from a university in Shanghai is secretly happy that he has gone to college and no longer has to study in the evening. By the way, how do you know that my crew is here and that I still have a role? Lu Zhengzheng and Fang Yao could not reveal it to the fans, because they knew that she would not like the so-called visiting behavior of fans who would waste time, money, and energy just to meet her. This question can be answered. The people standing at the front raised their hands one after another. Some of us saw Liao Jingchen's notice, which included a scene with Sister 11, and came to try his luck. Zhang Lingzi glanced next door and saw Liao Jingchen happily taking photos with fans. She doesn't like fans voluntarily coming all the way to visit her, but that doesn't mean others don't like it. After all, this is also a way to solidify followers and reflect popularity. Don't organize this kind of event again in the future. It's not 100% luck. This time I met you. If you didn't meet me, it would be a wasted trip. You also spent time and money. You can't do it because of this kind of thing, asking for leave. All the fans were educated and turned into quails. My idol's aura is so strong that I really don't dare to refute him. However, after the education, Zhang Lingzi couldn't leave these young girls, who were all around 20 years old, just coming of age, and asked Lu Zhengzheng and Fang Yao to take them to a nearby restaurant for a meal, and came all the way to help. After taking part of the travel expenses, I can't just eat a bucket of instant noodles every day until the end of the month. I also have to help take a taxi to go back to school while studying in the evening. As a result, all the fans did not get any autographs or photos. Instead, they were educated and sent back after being fed and drunk. It can be called the most unique visit in my life. This is not over yet. That night, everyone saw that their idol, whose account was once again overgrown with weeds, finally posted a message. Zhang Lingzi v. Repost hashtag accident that happened hashtag I'm fine. People who like me must put safety first. This is a rare update with more than 10 words. But it is neither a daily routine, nor is it in conjunction with publicity. Just to warn fans. Woo woohoo, report, I have rushed back to school, had a safe journey. Me, I caught up with the first period of evening self-study. Mom, it's really dangerous. There are still people who have been deceived. Where did Zixi find these accident summaries? Zhang Lingzi clicked on the 2 top replies. The previous one replied, yeah. The latter one asked, do you play with your mobile phone during self-study in the evening? Many netizens suddenly realized, yes, it is evening self-study time, how can you still play with your mobile phone? A high school sophomore girl sitting in the classroom. She vowed never to look at her phone secretly in self-study class again. Liao Jingchen and Sister Lu also saw Zhang Lingzi's post. Even fans who come to visit the class are so up to date and online. How on earth does this person have so many fans? How are you preparing for that matter? Rest assured. However, Sister Lu said these 2 words a bit reluctantly. Originally, during this visit, she was thinking that her own artists could be with Zhang Lingzi, so that they could take photos together and so on. There would be a lot of room for maneuver. Who would have thought that Zhang Lingzi was a deviant at all, and the group of fans also came to meet her. Not to mention any interaction, they were all sent away obediently after the meal. That scene was too much for her, an agent who prided herself on being well informed. But the plan was already halfway through, and she would be reluctant to give up. Then we can only bite the bullet and continue. Liao Jingchen was immersed in the imagination of the success of the plan and the surge in popularity. He didn't notice the agent's reluctance at all. He smiled and nodded, Sister Lu will still find a way. Midnight. An entry with the title #FanVisitClass was reminded by the idol to pay attention to safety #quietly climbed to the bottom of the hot search. But when I clicked on the entry, the most popular topic was not the crew visit, but the photo of Zhang Lingzi and Liao Jingchen going to meet fans together. There are also many subtly guiding remarks at the end, such as praising handsome men and beautiful women, and how they look so good when standing together. Tong Yu almost guessed that someone was secretly causing trouble as soon as she saw the group photo and these remarks. Want to use this cooperation to speculate on CP? I'm afraid you just want to eat shit. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 813. Chapter 813. Sorry, I am a CP insulator. This matter is neither big nor small. Although it is just a small wishful thinking trick used by someone who wants to be popular, don't forget that the person being offended has a target. Even if rational fans can tell that this is just hype, there is always a shortage of irrational fans in this circle. Not to mention that there are many sunspots who are just watching the fun and don't take it too seriously and have malicious intentions. These days, even if they are married and have children in real life, they can still find stars who fall in love with each other during the filming process. She can think of several stars in her mind without thinking carefully. I have to say that although this strategy is disgusting, it also captures part of the hype. Although she didn't want such disgusting things to disturb her own artists who were filming and also taking care of their postgraduate studies, after thinking about it, Tong Yu called Zhang Lingzi early the next morning to give her a heads up. Speculating CP, Liao Jingchen. To be precise, it's just speculation. I guessed from the beginning that you wouldn't cooperate, so I concocted some specious photos and remarks to force a relationship with you. It's barely considered speculation. After all, you are much more popular than Liao Jingchen, and as long as you pay attention to this matter, you are increasing his popularity in disguise. Tong Yu revealed the plans of Liao Jingchen and his agent in one breath. After a pause, he added, there is a deeper level. After all, it is not uncommon for actors to fall in love with opposite-sex actors on the set because of the drama. There are even some who have gotten married and returned to reality to get divorced. Even if you and Liao Jingchen have nothing in common apart from filming, those with malicious intentions don't care whether you are related or not, and they can definitely use this to make connections. Tong Yu was so disgusted that she couldn't speak anymore, but she guessed that Zhang Lingzi could think of it herself. And this time is different from similar incidents that happened before. That time Zhang Lingzi was still single anyway, and no one would say anything even if she was in love, but this time she is married. Liao Jingchen and his agent could not have thought of this and still chose to do it. After all, the method is disgusting, but it is effective. Okay, I get it. I know your Mr. Shen keeps a low profile, but it's best for him to show up this time. Before you were filming in Das Han, he even made a special trip to visit the cast. Now that you are closer in the Imperial Film and Television City, why don't you let Mr. Shen go visit you again? Class. This is also the simplest and most effective way of counterattack that Tong Yu thought of. Zhang Lingzi is on good terms with her partner. What kind of ghost is Liao Jingchen, and he dares to touch porcelain? There is no need to rely on Yunqing to refute the rumors. Although this method is simple and effective, Zhang Lingzi does not intend to use it. Originally, she thought that although Liao Jingchen was a bit arrogant, he was at least modest and polite on the surface. Besides, people all have shortcomings of one kind or another, so she couldn't tolerate it. Anyway, it's just a collaboration. After the filming, it's time to go back to the road. It's not like we have to continue working together. But the premise is that the other party will not plot against her. I'll handle this myself. Just using Shen Yunqing to refute the rumors, Liao Jingchen himself will stay on the set and continue filming. But she no longer wanted this man who was humble on the surface but full of small thoughts to still be hanging around in front of her eyes. Tong Yu also knew that Zhang Lingzi had his own methods, but she couldn't help but ask one more time, "Are you sure you can handle it?" Have. She is the absolute heroine in the drama being filmed. But Liao Jingchen is not the male protagonist. Whether it's a role as a celebrity or a role in a movie, Liao Jingchen is always in the spotlight. Liao Jingchen must be aware of the backlash if he dares to plot against her. As for what might not happen, she has the ability to make herself happy, so why endure it? Tong Yu did not continue to ask how Zhang Lingzi handled it, but she soon knew the result. The crew of Before Dawn and Liao Jingchen's own account have successively issued statements. Due to some force majeure reasons, Liao Jingchen has withdrawn from the filming of Before Dawn and the role played in the play will be played by another person. Everyone has quit the crew, and those comments on the internet that have begun to make secret comments about the two having a relationship because of the drama can no longer continue. How can we bring people together when they are not filming together? And there are some things that everyone who knows understands. Any force majeure reasons are visible to outsiders. As for the real reason, there were just comments on the internet about two people falling in love with each other because of the drama, and one of them quit the crew directly. Is there any need to think about it carefully? Zhang Lingzi's methods are cruel enough. Liao Jingchen himself did not expect Zhang Lingzi to be so cruel. He could imagine that the other party might try to promote his relationship with Mr. Shen to refute the rumors, but he didn't expect that Zhang Lingzi would directly pull the plug and kick him out of the crew. Moreover, the process is not disguised at all. Tell him and the rest of the crew clearly, there is no way for you to still want to stay on the crew even though you are scheming against me. If anyone else dares to do this, he will serve as a warning. No matter how much Liao Jingchen regretted it, his manager's sister Lu wanted to kneel down and beg for mercy, but when it came to Zhang Lingzi, it was all useless. Her heart will only be colder than others when it should be hardened. If you do something wrong, you have to pay the price. No one is exempt from this. The actor who came to replace Liao Jingchen later was naturally similar in style to him. However, after learning what happened to the previous actor, let alone quietly speculating on CP, this actor inevitably came into contact with Zhang Lingzi during filming. I wish I could squat 8 meters away from Zhang Lingzi, for fear of being picked on and said something on the internet. Everyone in the crew, I understand, that's understandable. The aftermath of this incident did not end there. When Zhang Lingzi later filmed more TV series and movies, won more awards, and her popularity reached the top of the entertainment industry, naturally there were many people who wanted to take advantage of the cooperation. But then think about what happened to the first person who did this. There is no one like Liao Jingchen in the entertainment industry now, and my heart that was just getting hot immediately turned cold. Zhang Lingzi has successfully achieved a long-lasting success in the entertainment industry, but no one dares to speculate on CP with her, and many netizens laugh at her achievement as a CP insulator. Of course, this is also because the relationship between her and Shen Yunqing has not changed at all despite the passage of time. This is something for another time. Asterisk. Before Dawn was completed half a month later than originally planned due to Liao Jingchen's withdrawal from the crew and a temporary replacement. After leaving the crew, Zhang Lingzi turned around and entered school again. Instead of being busy taking on roles and accepting various invitations, she focused on her studies and successfully obtained a graduate diploma and a master's degree in history within the expected time. At the same time, some of the papers she published during her graduate studies also helped her occupy a place in the historical academic circle. She had just graduated, and because of her dual status in the entertainment industry and the historical academic circle, she received a large-scale historical documentary project organized by the national television station. Neither Tong Yu nor Tong Yu expected that being a graduate student in history would bring such a big surprise. Many actors in the industry are vying for projects that they want to participate in, but they fall directly on their own artists. Although documentaries are not as good as movies and TV series, they are jointly organized by the national television station and the traditional culture propaganda department. They have high intentions. Compared with this project, the TV and movie scripts I have accumulated are not worth it. Until the project started, Tong Yu, as Zhang Lingzi's agent, also received a project schedule. Then I saw the words Shen Yunqing printed next to Zhang Lingzi's name in the consultant column. Tong Yu. No wonder he went ahead without even informing her when he was invited. After signing the contract, he remembered to tell her. Now the case was finally solved. End of this chapter. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 814. Chapter 814, How big are the differences between people? Our historical treasures is destined to be an ambitious and long-term project. After all, we have a splendid civilization that spans thousands of years. During this period, there have been countless amazing and brilliant historical figures, as well as various classics, collisions of ideas, and superb craftsmanship. This documentary is to show everything in the most understandable way to local children and foreign friends who are curious about this civilization. Be proud of yourself and the envy of others while actually gaining something from what you learned. Although Yang Shuliu has not yet graduated from graduate school, thanks to the blessing of his senior sister, he joined the project team as an exception and got the opportunity to work as an assistant consultant. Special consultants like Zhang Lingzi and Shen Yunqing are mainly responsible for selecting topics, assisting in planning, and solving problems during the project advancement process in the project team. Yang Shuliu's job is much simpler and more complicated, that is, helping to collect and organize the information needed by the project team at each stage. But being able to be with a group of invited consultants from the historical field and having the opportunity to ask for advice at any time is, in her opinion, much more precious than the position of assistant consultant. Needless to say, this job once again won the envy and screams of classmate Yuan. Ah, have you seen my hairline? I'm so envious that I'm bald now. Come on, I think you just stay up late. You have been my senior sister Jiang's fan for the longest time. Why don't you learn from your idol? Wait a minute, you even know our Zixi's schedule. Aren't we here to collect materials from the Xi ancient site? Senior sister Zhang and senior brother-in-law are both special consultants, so they naturally came together. We have been working together for several days now. Didn't you see that senior sister Zhang and senior brother-in-law, the two of them have a regular schedule, especially the senior brother-in-law. Unless the meeting accidentally goes too late, the two of them must go back to the room to rest before 10 o'clock in the evening. Even if senior sister Zhang accidentally forgets, the senior brother-in-law will remind her. Seeing Yuan's eyes widening as she heard her name, Yang Shuliu took a sip of water and continued, I went to bed earlier than usual one time, and got up a little early the next day. Guess what? What happened? What the hell? Don't keep it secret, tell me quickly. I opened the door and went out to eat, and saw senior sister Zhang and senior brother-in-law coming back from a run. And this was not an accident. I learned that the two of them basically get up early every day and go out for a run, and they would go out at night if they were not busy. Take a spin and move around. Now you should know why senior sister Zhang is full of energy every day and can't get fat no matter how much she eats. Classmate Yuan, I suggest you follow your idol. Oh, by the way, when we were in the same dormitory before, weren't you always envious of me for having more hair? Senior sister Zhang has more hair than me. That's called a dark, thick, and shiny hair. The same goes for my senior brother-in-law. This shows how important a good work and rest habit is. You quickly follow and learn. Yuan, so self-disciplined, after she sincerely praised her, she said in a faint tone, this is not something ordinary people can do. Can you do it now when you work with Zixi? Yang Shuliu took a deep breath and shook his head honestly. I can't do it either. She has now truly realized how different people can sometimes be. It's not just brain IQ, it's all innate and unsaid. But things like taking the initiative to learn, focusing on work, being self-disciplined and self-consistent, and being responsible for one's own body are something that everyone can do. The key is whether you can persevere. Some people would rather deceive themselves than do it, but there are also people who are able to execute to the letter, spend the best time, do the most things, and ensure quality while ensuring efficiency. Although she can't do it yet, she has silently regarded Zhang Lingzi as her goal. Even if you can't surpass, you should try your best to follow in the other person's footsteps. In addition to serving as a consultant, will Zixi also appear in the documentary? It should be possible. There is now a series that has been decided to take stock of all the emperors in history. Apart from senior sister Zhang, I can't think of anyone else who can play the role of Empress Yuan. Zhao Yuan nodded crazily. I don't accept it either. Someone else plays the role of Empress Yuan Zhao. This makes me want to watch Empress Yuan Zhao again. I just finished watching Eve of Dawn and it's a drama again. Come on, I advise you to go to bed early. I don't know you well, and I'll probably have to stay up all night just to watch the drama. Yuan. Don't say it, it's really possible. Even though she has watched Empress Yuan Zhao 3 times now, she still doesn't get tired of it at all. 1111 is busy with your documentary, so she won't have time to make movies or TV series. Yang Shuliu spread his hands. I don't know about that. But today during the day, senior sister Jiang's agent came and stayed for almost 2 hours before leaving. Could it be that you're here to deliver a new script? It's really not the case this time. If Tong Yu hadn't reminded her, Zhang Lingzi would have forgotten that her contract with Shaw Brothers was about to expire. In fact, with her current status in the entertainment industry, she will be able to go out and open her own artist studio when her contract expires. However, the cooperation between her and Xiao Yifeng has been quite pleasant in the past few years. The other person is skillful and a truly smart person. Zhang Lingzi has no intention of going out independently. Tong Yu made a special trip this time to discuss whether to renew or terminate the contract directly after the contract period expires. If she renews her contract, her salary will definitely be improved by several levels based on the previous contract. At her current level, it is not so much that she relies on Shaw Brothers Entertainment as her support, but that the two achieve mutual success. Specific terms can no longer be determined according to standard contracts. If you choose to terminate the contract, you will have to prepare a studio, which is a lot of tedious things. After chatting for more than an hour, Tong Yu got an accurate answer from Zhang Lingzi before leaving in a hurry. When the collection of materials from the Xi ancient site was completed and the work that required consultants to be responsible for the project team came to an end, Zhang Lingzi and Shen Yunqing returned to the imperial capital. The first thing they were busy with was to go to the company to sign a new contract. This is also the first time Zhang Lingzi and Xiao Yifeng have signed a contract face-to-face. Compared with the previous contract, which was considered generous, the one about to be signed is considered loose. Even in terms of profit sharing, Zhang Lingzi takes the absolute majority. After all, the main role of a brokerage company is to help its artists obtain various resources, deal with negative news, and help the artists conduct various publicity. But these effects are a bit insignificant when applied to Zhang Lingzi now. There is no shortage of resources. Negative news, none. As for publicity, speaking of it, the company has helped other artists to buy more or less hot searches, but it has not bought it for Zhang Lingzi because it is not needed at all. This person has a hotly searched physique. Xiao Yifeng, he seems to just help handle the finances and pay taxes. Her Majesty the Queen has become a god in the entertainment industry. Author, Press 11. Chapter 815. Chapter 815 End of text. Yun was worried that her idol would be busy with the work of a special consultant and would temporarily put her other identity as an actor on hold. Zhang Lingzi told her and her fans with practical actions, "I can definitely do both. If she comes across a script she likes, whether it is a movie or a TV series, she will still participate in it. It's good to have 1 or 2 movies a year, but it's not expensive to have more. But if there is no one she likes, she won't force herself to take it. At worst, she will have a bye, and it's not like she doesn't have other work to do." Our Historical Treasures adopts the method of broadcasting one episode after recording it. The several episodes that have been produced have been well received. Some junior high schools have even chosen to broadcast it during evening self-study. The audience's recognition is incredible. Low. There are also many parents of students who urge for updates online. Zhang Lingzi has also traveled to almost every corner of China with the Treasure Project team in the past few years. As a consultant, he has become more and more skilled in his work, but he has not stopped enjoying the local customs, food, and beauty. Work can be considered fulfilling, there is no shortage of time and money for enjoyment, plus you have a partner to accompany you. It is definitely a life that most people can envy. But there is no way around it. Shen Yunqing walked to the balcony of the bamboo building with 2 cups of juice squeezed from local unique fruits. When she saw that His Majesty had just put down his mobile phone, there was still a bit of helplessness on his face. He suddenly understood and asked softly while handing over the juice, "Did your mother-in-law call?" "Well, I asked again in a vague way when we plan to have children." Zhang Lingzi took a sip of juice and looked Shen Yunqing up and down. "This time, I changed my explanation and said that you are now over 30 years old, and I am also the golden age for childbirth. At this age, it's the right time to have a baby." Shen Yunqing also took a sip of the juice, frowning slightly because of the sourness. "How is Xiaoxu's side?" Zhang Lingzi heard that he was trying to divert the flames of the war, and said softly, "I will never change my infatuation." Even Zhang Lingzi didn't expect that this boy was quite affectionate. "It has been almost 6 or 7 years since I first met Su Ling'an outside the juvenile detention center. In my eyes and in my heart, I'm still the same person." Su Ling'an was so focused on her research that she didn't even notice Zhang Lingxiu's feelings, even the admiring glances from others in a research institute. This boy has a long way to go. The two of them faced the vast sea of bamboo in front of the balcony of the bamboo building, talking and talking while slowly drinking the juice in the cup. "I didn't expect this fruit to be quite delicious when squeezed into juice. It would be better if I put some more honey or sugar. You think it's not sweet enough, I think it's okay." Shen Yunqing raised an eyebrow and took the empty cup over. "Do you still want to drink?" Zhang Lingzi smacked her lips and said, "Forget it, I heard that the bamboo tube braised rice here is also excellent, so I'd better save some for the stomach." All morning, the two of them worked on the balcony while listening to the wind in the bamboo forest. Until Yang Shuliu shouted from downstairs, "Senior sister Zhang, senior brother-in-law, went to a fellow villager's house for dinner. Coming." Zhang Lingzi responded, put down her pen, got up and went back to the room to change clothes. Shen Yunqing left the slightly messy table in order. We packed up and went downstairs hand in hand. Yang Shuliu was waiting downstairs. When he heard the noise on the stairs, he subconsciously looked up. The image of a pair of beautiful people walking downstairs together fell on the bottom of my retina. Even though this is not the first time I have seen this scene, I can never get tired of watching it no matter how many times I watch it. When something happened to her family on the eve of the college entrance examination, she even vowed to stay single for the rest of her life, determined not to give love, get married, or have children. But after watching the relationship between senior sister Zhang and her senior brother-in-law for a long time, she had to admit that her vow was shaken. If you can find someone with whom you feel your soul is compatible, then it would be a good idea to stay with him for the rest of your life. Xiao Luer. The trance in Yang Shuliu's eyes quickly faded. "Senior sister Zhang, I think this place is so beautiful. Indeed, Zhang Lingzi nodded in agreement, otherwise it wouldn't have been chosen as a place of seclusion by that great celebrity in history. And they came here this time to trace the life trajectory of this ancient celebrity and the filming of the documentary. But after the busy work is over, Zhang Lingzi plans to stay for a while longer. First of all, I don't want to go back to the imperial capital, and Ms. Zhang rushes to me to urge me. Secondly, this place is really pleasant. Anyway, I have already filmed a drama this year, and I am not busy at the moment, so I will leave after enough time. After having a hearty meal at the local folks' home, Zhang Lingzi and Shen Yunqing returned to the bamboo house assigned to them. Shen Yunqing was also carrying some food made by the family who was eating. Seeing that His Majesty liked it, he simply bought something that was easier to make. You can also cook here at Zalo, so it's convenient to eat when you want. When he entered the house to pack his things, he came out and saw Zhang Lingzi already asleep on the bamboo deck chair on the balcony. Suddenly he turned around and took out a blanket to cover her. Just then I picked up the phone that had been on next to me for almost half a minute. Asked in a lowered voice, "Is the project over?" "That's right, why is the voice so low?" "Your Majesty is asleep." "Wuju, okay, where are you now?" "I have something to ask you." Shen Yunqing took her cell phone back to the house and turned the volume up a little. "I'm not in the imperial capital now, I'm in the mountains here in Nanzhou." "Why did you run so far? Come to work, can't you tell me something on the phone?" "This is really not possible." "Forget it, I'll wait for you to come back." "How long will it take for you to come back?" "About half a month." "How are you doing there? Has the Tai Sui project helped Mr. Su's recovery?" "It will help to some extent, and it should be fine if you die of old age." "That's good. I'll wait for you in the imperial capital." "See you." By the time Zhang Lingzi woke up, it was already more than an hour later. "I slept for more than an hour." Zhang Lingzi stood up and frowned when she saw the time. She used to wake up in about half an hour during her lunch break. Lunch breaks have almost doubled recently. It should be quieter here. "It's possible. By the way, you called me unconsciously when you were asleep." Zhang Lingzi's eyes lit up. The Tai Sui project he participated in is finally over. Then have you asked him, Mr. Su?" "Helpful. That's good." Since Wuju was waiting for them in the imperial capital and had something to discuss in person, Zhang Lingzi had no choice but to give up her plan to stay here for a while longer after finishing her work. After the work of the project team was over, the two of them went home together with the rest of the team. The next day after returning to Ziwan, Zhang Lingzi saw Wuju, whom she had not seen for several years. Smiled and raised his hand to say hello. "Long time no see." "Long time no see, Your Majesty." Wuju had already prepared what he would say when they met. It was a surprise, but when he saw Zhang Lingzi's face, his words changed and he said, "Your Majesty, may I take your pulse?" "Huh?" Although Zhang Lingzi was confused, she still handed over her hand. "Didn't you call Yunqing before and said that you had something to talk about in person?" "What is it?" Unconsciously feeling the pulse beating under his fingertips, he raised his head when he heard the words. He first glanced at Shen Yunqing, who was walking over with a glass of juice, and then looked at Zhang Lingzi, who was sitting leisurely in front of him with a lazy look on his face. He smiled and said, "No need to say it, Your Majesty." Zhang Lingzi slowly retracted her hand, raised her head and glanced at Shen Yunqing, who seemed to be frozen, and then slowly lowered her head and looked at her belly that had not yet risen. "Well, it's good."